The secret room behind Mount Rushmore. I didn't even know there was a secret room behind Mount Rushmore. In the 14 years he spent designing, creating, and overseeing the completion of the Mount Rushmore monument, artist Gutzon Borglum had one concern. He feared that the rock, which bears the faces of 4 U.S. presidents from left to right, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln, would one day be shrouded in mystery. Borglum himself cited Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids as reasons. Cultures change, but Rushmore will remain. To make sure the world of the future would know the history and meaning of his work, Borglum announced a huge hall just behind Lincoln's hairline that would contain all the information about the mountain and house important historical exhibits such as the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Borglum called this room the Hall of Records. In 1938, he had workers blast with dynamite and carve what he wanted to be his best signature. The outspoken and shameless Borglum was born in 1867. At least that's what the information says. He liked to blur his story, mix up the facts for his own amusement. He was a talented artist and believed he would pursue a career in painting. But when he saw his brother Solon become famous as a sculptor, jealousy of his brother made him take up and realize that he had more to offer working with clay. After a modest-sized bust of Lincoln, Borglum attracted attention and was asked to carve the faces of Confederate soldiers at Stone Mountain in Georgia. This project, which was never completed due to disputes with the local government, attracted the attention of Doane Robinson, an official state historian from South Dakota. Robinson told Borglum that a monument in the state's Black Hills could be an excellent canvas for a large-scale project. Borglum examined 3 mountains and began to see what potential Rushmore had. To get the state's attention, he would focus on 4 presidents who had an enormous impact: Jefferson, Lincoln, Washington, and Roosevelt. Each would be depicted to the waist. And in Washington, there would also be a huge inscription listing important events in U.S. history. The work started in 1927. 30 men were working to blow up the rock with dynamites, and the U.S. government subsidized most of the cost of the work, which ultimately totaled about $1 million. As they doled out more money generously, South Dakota and federal supporters became more familiar with Borglum, but Borglum's attention was on a more ambitious plan. He wanted a room accessible to visitors that would feature signs explaining the work, as well as busts of famous Americans and key documents such as the Declaration of Independence, and those seeking the entrance would have to climb an 800-foot staircase and then pass under a gilded eagle with 38-foot wingspan. The chamber room began to take shape in 1938 when Borglum finally began blasting an opening, and the door, 18 feet high, led to the room 75 feet long, 35 feet high. Borglum's ambition, however, was not shared by the government, which had a limited amount of funds and considered the hall a frivolity. South Dakota Senator Peter Norbuck offered to help Borglum, however, did not like the idea. He took a percentage of the federal funds and would not put money in his own pocket. He dismissed the senator in the belief that he could find the means himself. His confidence, however, may have been his downfall. Governor William Bulow told him that completing the men was a top priority, and that is Mount Rushmore, the presidents, and that an additional work could be ignored. Bulow turned out to be right to be concerned. Borglum died in March 1941, leaving the Hall of Records incomplete. The government declared the monument complete on Halloween 1941. Borglum's halls proves costly and work did not proceed. The hall remains closed to visitors. His family did not give up. For decades, Borglum's descendants petitioned the government to have the hall completed in honor of his work. Finally, in 1998, family members were able to enter the room and see some porcelain plaques explaining the work. The Mount Rushmore National Memorial Society paid for a ceremony which represented the posthumous completion of Borglum's work. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. I've found this on a Greek article. Thank you. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.